And my biological mother, I think that she came once a week to see me. I don't know what I was thinking in that time. I mean, everything was so confusing, and just I was at home with my parents and my siblings, and another day I was alone.
That's Gemi and Ili Bertran, and this is the Powerful Ladies podcast. Hey guys, I'm Cara Duffy, a business coach and entrepreneur on a mission to help you live your most extraordinary life by showing you that anything is possible. People who have mastered freedom, ease, and success, who are living their best and most ridiculous lives, and who are changing the world, are often people you've never heard of until now. One of the most impactful podcasts I recorded in 2021 was episode number 129 with Gemi Bertran. I was so impressed and inspired by Gemi as a human, and my heart was so inspired by her powerful and thrilling story of her daughter's adoption story. It happened in Haiti during a coup that required a helicopter evacuation. Really, you have to go back and listen to that episode. I knew she was someone I want to have back on the podcast, and today I'm super honored to have her and her daughter, Ili, join us. Ili joined us from Barcelona, which is where she lives, and at moments in this episode, you'll hear Gemi translating. It can be nerve-wracking enough to be on a podcast, let alone on a podcast not in your mother tongue. So extra cheers for Ili for being a yes to all of that. In this episode, we go back to the adoption story, what it was like transitioning to a new country and a new family for Ili, how they inspired each other, and the challenges that they face being pioneers in both of their own respects. As always, you can leave comments or questions about this episode at thepowerfulladies.com/podcast. And I hope you enjoy this episode. Well, I'm so honored that I get to hang out with you again, Gemi, and with your daughter, who we talked very briefly about on your first podcast with us. But how are you?
Oh, Cara, I am fabulous, and I'm super excited that you invited us. And it's a pleasure to do this, to have this experience with Ili. And I'm very proud mama.
Perfect. So anyone who hasn't listened to that episode yet, let's just give them a quick intro of who you are and where you are in the world. And we'll start with you, Gemi.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm Gemi Bertran. I'm the CEO and founder at Nourish the Brain Institute and the Brain and Behavior Coach Academy. I am originally from Barcelona, and I moved to the United States. And my first opportunity for business, it was being a director for a mental and behavioral health facility here. And since many years ago, I had a massive brain breakdown, and I learned how to put my brain back together through nutrition and the science of the mind. I tried to implement this in a regular behavioral health practice. They were not so open to that. So I decided to create my own business on that. And here I am today, right?
Yes. And I will put in the show notes the link to your original episode so everyone can hear it. It's one of my favorite ones. Okay. Yeah, of course. Like, learn so much, great conversation, and just hearing how amazing you are. And in that episode, we talked about your journey to adopt your daughter, who I'm so happy is here today. So Ili, please introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you? And what are you up to?
Okay. Hello. Well, my name is Ili. I'm living in Barcelona. I'm studying product design. Mm-hmm. And well, I'm living the life.
You are. I wish I was back in uni living in Barcelona. That sounds magical to me. What type of product designer do you want to be?
I don't know yet. I don't know.
But she has.
I like
She did create a really awesome project for college.
Oh,
You
yeah.
want to talk about the product?
Yes, my last product was sunglasses that you have a base and you can put insects on it. And
Cool.
yeah, it was a collection. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, let me know when you're looking for internships because I have a few connections in Europe that might be fruitful for you. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah, he is interested on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I spent 20 years working in product creation and I lived in Germany for a while working for Puma and so there's a big European network of all the people making products, sunglasses, footwear, you name it. So,
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
awesome connection. What about that? So yeah, she created these really cool sunglasses. If you want to see the project, she can send it to you. I'm just,
Yeah, I can do it.
sales pitch right here. But
I love it.
It's really cool because she created these sunglasses that have a base. And then with a magnet, you change the design from the outside and it's an insect collection. So there is ants and butterflies and
Cool.
things. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It sounds like you would be a perfect kids designer. I worked in kids products for a long time and it was so fun because you could do all those cool things and the details and kids see it. Or often adults don't even notice and you're like, oh, I worked so hard on that. You didn't even say anything.
And I was with the designs. I was spending 8 hours doing a little thing, and everyone just like, oh wow, it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I would love to kind of give people a little bit of that foundational story of what it was like for you to find your daughter. It was so inspiring to me. I had never thought, I know that I want kids and I want multiple kids. And I love the idea that there are kids out there waiting for me to be their mom that I just haven't met yet. And I've really kept that story in my heart since we first talked. So if we could just give a summary of what that experience was like and what drove you to it and how you finally got to meet your daughter.
Yeah. Well, I was a single mother and I had Paul, my son, my oldest son, and I always wanted a daughter. And, like in Spain at that time, there is all these regulations about adoption, countries that you can adopt, countries, but it was very limited at that time as a single mother to be able to adopt, like anywhere, like very few children, available for adoption in the country. At that time in Spain, they didn't even allow to fully adopt. You had to foster, and the parent could anytime claim the kid. And
so scary.
Exactly, right? Like that was like really weird. So anyways, so that was the reason why I decided to do overseas, right? Like abroad adoption. I didn't know where to go because, like there is so many countries, but all of them had a problem with being a single mom, right? Like I wasn't married, like you have to be specific, like Catholic or Christian or, like most of the orphanages in different countries are religion driven. Not that I have a problem with that, but they seem to have a problem with me being a single woman with already a kid, right? So Haiti was one of the countries that had more ease into single parents adopt in Haiti. And I decided to start there, and they had a consul in Barcelona. And the consul secretary was a lawyer and really easy to work with them. Like they facilitated, they made things easy. They introduced me to people. I mean, like it was easy to work with them. The reason why it was easy is because Ili was meant to be my daughter. There is no such a thing as ease in adoption. It always, like bureaucracy gets on the way of people getting the dream they want, right? So the reason why it was easy is because Ili was out there in the universe already calling me, right? So that the connection was already made. It's just we didn't know, right?
Ili, did you know that you were manifesting your mother?
Yeah, she always is saying that. I'm really happy because I mean it's a very happy history, and yeah, she gave me the opportunity to have a better life. Yeah, and she gave me a incredible family, and yeah, they love me so much, and I love them. Yeah.
Well, I have to say that Ili, if you don't get along with Ili, there is something wrong with you. 100%. Because Ili is so easygoing. Like there is nobody in the world that makes life easier than Ili. Like she's always ready to help, always grateful, never one problem, never. Like she is the dream kid. I mean, seriously, that's so easy. Yeah.
Because when you guys met and became mother and daughter, were you 5, Ili?
6.
6. Okay. So, when you think back to being 6, how was life different before you met your mom to after?
I don't remember mostly all the thing that I was in the orphanage. Orphanage. But I mean, I don't know how much time I was there, and I was very hungry.
Yeah.
And very small. And I remember when they gave me a photograph of my mother, and I was just going to the orphanage with the photo and saying, "This is gonna be my mother." It's gonna be my mother. And all the kids was really happy for that. And I remember the day that she arrived. I was, I think, in the school, and just they come and they dress me, and I met her. Yeah.
It's such a crazy thing to me, right? Because I've never had an experience where I had to meet my mother. She was just there the whole time, whether I liked her, didn't like her, wanted her, didn't want her. She was just there, right? And I love my mother. She's lovely. But the whole idea of like, how cool to have an experience where you get to meet your mother, right? Like not everybody gets that opportunity, and to know that she's coming. And like, what did a mother mean to you before you had one? Like, what did you imagine a mother meant?
Yeah.
Okay, well, she's not understanding. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Ella està preguntant què volia dir per tu una mare abans de que em coneguessis a mi.
És molt difícil. I mean, I remember when I was in the orphan, and my biological mother, I think that she came once a week, or I don't know, to see me. And I mean, I don't know what I was thinking in that time. I mean, everything was so confusing, and just I was at home with my parents and my siblings, and another day I was alone there, just like, okay.
Yeah. Crazy.
Can you imagine this part? Right?
No.
You are at home with your family, and all of a sudden they take you away and you are not coming back?
I can't. I just can't imagine it.
It's hard. I mean, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would imagine that if you knew who your biological mother was, and then she put you into the orphanage, and then you were waiting for another one, were you nervous about like, would your new mother be awesome? Or were you like, I don't know, we'll see what this mother thing is like.
I think that the thing it was that I'm just gonna go out of there and have a new life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is was the important thing.
I'm so impressed at how hopeful you were, right? And how trusting. You know, like when you saw your mom's picture, were you like, okay, that's it? Yes, I approve. Was it that quick? Yeah.
Yeah. In life, I'm like the yes, just gonna approve.
I love that. I love that you saw the picture. You're like, yep, that's my mom. I'm ready. When she's showing up. It's so wild. So we shared on the first episode how it became an adventure and almost like a thriller movie for you, Gemi, to go into Haiti, to get Ili and to like get out because there was a coup happening at the time. And everyone has to go back and listen to the episode because your chin will be on the floor when that whole story is being told. But like, what happened after that? Like, so you got back to Spain and then what? Like, how do you integrate a brand new child into life?
I mean, the beginning wasn't easy because when you have, I mean, first of all, there is a very important thing. One is my mission. It was to get my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I am there. I don't know when I'm gonna. I mean, when I'm gonna be done.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not leaving Haiti without her, no matter what. Right? Like that was the mission. It didn't take many days. It took like around a week. The one thing that was very shocking to me, it was that right at the second that she sat on the plane from Dominican Republic to Madrid, because we flew to Madrid, she cried the whole flight nonstop until she cried herself to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, even we couldn't communicate because I wasn't talking Creole. She wasn't talking any language besides that one. She knew that she was leaving for good.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I didn't know how much did she know?
Yeah.
I didn't know because I didn't talk to anybody to say, oh no, she knows this, that. No, they got her, they grabbed her, they threw her to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we spent the next 5 or 6 days attached to each other because we were physically attached to each other. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when we came back home and we had to live our lives. I mean, the first thing it was to escape the press because my family was persecuted by the press when we were coming back, where I was coming back, because they wanted to be there. So they had to kind of orchestrate a whole deal because I did not want them there. Right? My daughter's privacy for me was very important, and safety. I didn't want the whole thing to become a show. And we got to the airport. My family, everybody was there cheering for her, super excited. And then we went home. And all I can remember is when I hit home, there was a party to welcome us. I fell asleep on the couch and I think I slept until the next day. Like I don't remember anything. Like I brought this girl, the whole thing, that the only person that she knew was me. And I was passed out. I couldn't be there for her because I was, like exhausted, right? So, and then the days to come, like you just have to make your life like as normal as possible. My son was super jealous. Like in the beginning, he was kind of excited, right? Like, oh, she's new, a new toy, like is somebody to play with. And then he got really jealous, which is normal, right? Like he was a single child, and then all of a sudden he has to share. And she takes a lot of attention. And the reason is because she's super cute. She's such a good girl,
Yeah.
right? And she was the only Black kid in our town.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody knew her.
Yeah.
Like everybody was saying things with her, talking to her and saying, because she's just the sweetest thing in the whole world. So it's, like there was a period of adjustment.
Yeah.
It was not easy peasy, but it wasn't also anything dramatic.
Right. Yeah. Say, half of it's the same as if there is any other new child, right, that goes through. Yeah. And then, were you nervous bringing a Black daughter home where she would stand out, or were you like, "That's it, we're breaking all the rules. It's going to be fun. I can't wait."
No, never crossed my mind. Like we don't have. I mean, first of all, we don't have a background in slavery in Europe, right? Like in Spain, we don't have that. I'm not saying there is no racism. There is racism, but that thing didn't even cross my mind. It was not a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like there is a conversation on a Sunday lunch on the table when Ili was speaking perfect Catalan already, but she was like maybe a year in the country. And we were talking about, like children resembling me or my brother or my dad or my mom, and Ili all of a sudden like, nobody's, like, because of course. So Ili all of a sudden jumps and she says, I look more like my uncle, my brother, because we both have longer hair.
I love that, Ili. Yes.
So he saw, like, she didn't even see the color. Like the color was not, like, I know I look more like my uncle because we both have longer face. That was the thing.
Amazing. I love that. Well, and I think what's so amazing too with the nature versus nurture, how easy it is to look like the people around you, even if you don't share a single piece of DNA. Same facial expression, same reaction. And I remember you said in your previous episode that your son came from your womb, but your daughter came from your heart, which I thought was so touching. And how are you guys alike today?
Alike? How are we alike? I don't know, Ili. What do you think that we are alike? And what are the things that we do similar or we do the same?
The hair.
I think one thing is we both are very healthy eaters.
Yeah.
Right? We are very healthy eaters. She made a lot of fun of me in the past, but she is becoming really, really healthy. So I guess that comes from me.
Yeah.
Her, right?
Yeah.
What else? What do you think that you do? I think she's really driven. Like she's really going after something bigger and better.
Yeah.
Do you think that's?
I learned that from you. Yeah.
Yeah. What else have you learned from your mom?
She's a luchadora.
Fighter. She's
a fighter.
She's a fighter. And yes, she just move on. If she have a problem or anything, she just go through that. And if she wants something, she just keep going. She never look back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is important in life. You have to live the life like that. Yeah.
How does your mom inspire you?
I mean, yeah, I try to live the life similar like her, but yeah, she's having a wonderful life, and she's really happy, and she just watch the positive things in the life
Mm-hmm.
and not negative, and this is really important, and I like that view of the life. Yeah.
Yeah. And as you've gotten older, have you met and made more friends who have also been adopted and also have come from outside of Catalonia? Or do you find yourself being like the only one who's adopted in your circle still?
In my circle, yeah, I think that yes, I'm the only one that, yeah, that
The only
I'm
special
adopted.
one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very special. Yes.
Yeah. What's inspired you, Gemi, about your daughter?
I mean, first of all, is the ease that she found her way inside our family. Like she never she stole everybody's heart, like from the get-go, not even speaking the language, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that?
I know. I would like that skill.
Like, how do you stole everybody's heart without saying a word?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. The other thing is, to me, my daughter inspires me to do that, to be better,
Mm-hmm.
because I want her to have a mirror where, like she can see herself and say, I am that too.
Mm-hmm.
And that pushes you, like without pressure, but it pushes you to want to do better. I mean, like for me, giving up is not an option.
Yeah.
I am a single mother of two, and giving up is not an option.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Are both of your kids in Spain currently?
yeah.
And how hard or easy was the choice for you to come to LA?
Not easy.
Yeah.
There was, it wasn't easy. It was, a thought out decision that I made. And also it was consensuated with the whole family, because everybody had to step in, right? Like my mom, my brother, my son, like my friends, my best friends are there for my children anytime they need to, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a light decision, but it was consensual, and everybody was super happy that they could do that, and they all knew that was going to better the family, the entire family, right? And that's why it came, because otherwise it would not have come. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How often do you guys get to see each other?
Well, that's the thing. COVID didn't make things easy.
Yeah.
Right? Usually twice a year at least, because Ili usually comes during the summer, and then I go for Christmas. Like since COVID, we couldn't do that, right? Like last time they came, and I say they because my brother came with her. I think it was 2019, summer 2019.
Yeah.
And then in December, I didn't go because I made the decision not to go. My plan was that year, I wanted to go in March, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And since then. But next week, my brother is coming.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's the other thing, right? Like they had to get vaccinated so they could come, because otherwise they couldn't.
So what's on the schedule for you guys to meet up next?
This summer. Ili's coming this summer.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to self-invite myself to come say hi when you're here, Ili.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So one thing that I continue to think is so inspiring about the story that both of you share is that it really is a modern example of motherhood and the mother to daughter relationship and how it's evolving in a global world. There's a lot of articles talking about kids who grow up in a whole bunch of countries where they relate more internationally than to a specific country. But they don't talk a lot about how many mothers have to or choose to go abroad so that they can take care of their families. How has it been to be a trailblazer in that space? And have there been people that you can look up to who are doing the same thing?
Well, I don't know many people that has done the same thing the way that we do it, right?
Yeah.
Like my family back home, we are a tribe. Like we don't do things individually.
Yeah.
We don't. We do all together or we don't do it all together, right? Like we make financial decisions together. We make work decisions together. My brother and I, we do things together. I mean, like there is no question because for us, the family is what's important.
Yeah.
Right. And we make decisions on behalf of the well-being of everybody there. Right. I don't know many people. I'm sure there is tons of women in the world that do the same. I just don't know them. So I don't have, like a reference point where I can say, oh, somebody did this. I think I will do that.
Yeah.
I go with the flow. I work a lot. I'm very busy. But, like we talk in the daily basis. Like I see them every day for the most part. So it's, like you miss them. I miss hugging them.
Yeah.
I miss hugging them. But I know they are fine all the time because I see them every day. So, technology is good for that reason.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it also helps that you know that even if they're half as strong as you, they're fine.
Yeah. No, my children were raised to be strong. These kids are resilient. Like both of them are strong, responsible, smart. They are people. I mean, they are good people all around. And I have no shade of doubt that both of them are going to be very successful, no matter what they choose to do in life.
Yeah.
No matter. Yeah.
So, Ili, what is your day-to-day like? I'm sure you have lots of classes. Like, what are you doing all day long?
Right now, I'm just focusing my health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ili had a health problem. Let me interrupt. Yes, we were very worried. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that. Do you want to talk about that, Karen?
Sure. Yeah. I want to hear about Ili's real life. So yeah, if it's real, let's talk about it.
It is
real. My mother, she's gonna explain it better than me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really complicated.
Yeah, this is health terms is more my thing.
I understand. In German, I can't do technology or medical. It'd be very messy.
So Ili her health started deteriorating, and she wasn't feeling well. And we got blood drawn, and it turns out that she had ovarian cysts and polyps, and the cancer markers are very high. So we were very, very worried about ovarian cancer.
Yeah.
It turned out that she has endometriosis, which unfortunately is too common in Black women. Black women have twice as much endometriosis than white women. The difference between Europe and United States on behalf of Black women with endometriosis, without getting too politic here, I want to mention that because it's worth to raise awareness, is United States had for too long the custom of do
like a hysterectomy?
It's a full hysterectomy. So Black women couldn't have children.
It's Horrible.
Yes. So that was a thing in United States for the longest time. I mean, I don't think that is not happening so much, but it's being a thing in United States. For us in Europe, doctors have tried everything in order not to do any surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But she has horrible, horrible pain. She had really bad anemia. And surgery is not off the table because they are trying to save her eggs because she's really young. Most likely she will have to have surgery because the endometriosis is so bad that they fear that it's going to be attached to her bowels, and then it's going to be a massive problem.
Yeah. No, it's something that doesn't get talked about enough. I have 2 clients who struggle with it, and there's so many things that as women we struggle with anyway, and then as entrepreneurs we struggle with on top of it, or career women, and then to have that be so debilitating on top of it, it's frustrating.
Very much.
Because I can only imagine for you, Ili, where you're like, I've got things to do, things I want to do, like make this go away so I can get back to my life. And so my heart goes out to you that that's what you've been dealing with. Are you feeling better right now?
Yes, I'm talking with the doctors and having a good nutrition, and we are just keep going with that.
So we are using all homeopathy and nutrition and functional doctors, and she's doing really well. But yeah, this year has been focused. Basically, she's been just taking care of herself because it got really bad. Like she could not get out of bed to do anything, like school, nothing.
Yeah.
So it got really, really scary for a second.
Yeah, that is really scary. And in Spain, is homeopathic and functional medicine more available and more respected, or like how does it compare to the US from your experience?
I think there is. I mean, I think is more or less the same. Unfortunately, it's private. You have to go private. I have to pay out of the pocket all the time. So like the government doesn't pay for that. But I would say that we have a fair amount of functional medicine there. And unfortunately, we had to, hit that road before. My dad had cancer and died with cancer. And we did for the most part, we deal with it, like holistically. So we know, we are familiar with this. I practice that all the time. So it's just, like it's what we do.
Yeah.
But I guess, like I would say not enough in either country.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree. So now that you're feeling better, Ili, what are you doing? How are you spending your time when you're feeling better?
When I'm feeling better, I'm with the sunglasses project and spending time with friends. And I really like read books.
Me too.
Yeah.
She is an avid reader. I mean, like she reads all the time to the point that my mom would say, I don't know how she can read so much. She reads. This is not good.
Yeah, this is not good. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Do you use the app Goodreads? Do you have that in Spain?
No, I'm just buying ebooks or download it from internet.
Yeah. I love the Goodreads app because it lets you track the books you read. And so whenever I need to remember, like, oh, what was that book called? So I can share it with somebody, I can go and look. And I've been tracking my books since 2006 in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And every year you can set a new score of how many books do you want to read. And I get very competitive at the end of the year. Like, I got to hit my number.
Well, that's really
how,
cool.
how many books you can read in a year?
I did 35 last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
Wow.
you. I'm sure I'm slower than you are, I imagine.
No.
Yeah. But I do both audio and I also read the hard copies. So when I go for walks and I'll be listening, or if I'm like doing my workout, I'll listen. And then I like reading before I go to bed at night. It helps me relax.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, and then Gemi, what about you, right? Because, living abroad and living away from my family and a lot of friends often and repeatedly, what I find so shocking is that sometimes it feels like we live down the street from them. And sometimes it feels like, oh, wow, we really are on the other side of the world. And that's something that I think people understand until they've done it. Because on a day-to-day level, if someone doesn't live in the house with you, it doesn't really matter where you live. Like, your routine is the same. So what does your routine look like? And you mentioned, doing calls and Zooms and stuff with them, but what are you doing to stay close with everyone in Spain?
Well, I make sure that I talk to them, right? Like we talk every day for the most part. For the most part with Ili, my brother, my son is more busy. He's a busy bee.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to catch him. It's like, is busy as a bee and fast as a bee. He's like really quick conversations and not every day. He's like not so much he's not into technology. He's a very outdoorsy guy. So he's not so much into technology. But I do talk to Ili, my brother, and my mom almost on the daily basis. With my friends, not that often, but at least once a week we do hit each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, we stay in touch with other people that I grew up once in a while, like when we have birthdays or when it's Christmas, we send a message, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, remember me? Still here, still alive. So yeah, like last year I turned 50 in September.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And Ili put together an awesome video about a whole bunch of people from 1,000 years ago that I haven't seen for so many years. Some people I haven't seen since we were children, children, right? But we have stayed in touch, and everybody was there, like so many people, and it was really cool. So I guess in a way, like you still touch their lives.
Love that. Well, we ask everybody on the podcast where they put themselves in the powerful lady scale. So I'm going to start with you, Ili, on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 is an average everyday human, and 10 is the most powerful lady you can imagine. Where would you put yourself on that scale?
For the moment, I think at 7.
I like it.
I have a lot of way to work, and in 10 years, I will be in 10. Yeah.
I like it. And what does 10 years from now look like for you?
I want to make a lot of money. Yeah. And I will, work hard and and I would like to have children. And in 10 years, I hope that I could do that and travel a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And are you inspired by your mom to adopt as well? Or would you do it also?
I'm adopted, and I don't have any problem with that. But I have a family, but this thing that I don't know, someone, I don't know how to explain. but have this connect. I want to have this connection for living that experience.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I can adopt, yes, of course, but I want at least one child. I want to be mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
To have someone who shares the DNA, right?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And Gemi, how are you feeling on the scale? Where would you put yourself today?
As a powerful woman?
Yes.
If you would have asked me a month ago, I probably would have scored better. Now I feel a little bit more like sometimes when you grow and you have expand yourself and you are not in that comfort zone, you are still adjusting to the discomfort. So recently I grew a lot. I am into new projects that are very enriching in all levels, but are still very uncomfortable. So I'm still catching up. That's what I'm saying. On behalf of powerful, I would say probably from somebody else's eyes, much higher. From my eyes today, I would say a tight 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because I feel like, catching up is still, like something that I have to to do.
Yeah. I totally understand that. And I think it speaks to what it means to be powerful, right? And what it means to keep growing. If we want to stay comfortable and stay at 10, then we never get the chance to grow and see what's next. But I get so frustrated in that space of like, you just broke through a ceiling and you want to be on the other side and it's all uncomfortable. And it's so frustrating because it's that middle ground of having to get your footing back and your confidence back and to feel back in the flow. But at the beginning, it feels like you were dropped on another planet. And, you feel like you're 5 years old again. And you're like, wait, what did I just do?
Yeah. Like when you want to grow, I mean, like when I feel comfortable, I start getting uncomfortable with the comfort, right? Like I feel like I should do something because this is so comfortable. When I break the ceiling, like you said, right? Like I break the ceiling, that discomfort usually, like some people get discomfort, uncomfortable a little bit at the time.
Yeah.
I make it big, like a really big discomfort. And when we make a big discomfort, like it will take like these to go back.
Yes.
Right? like these, it will be like, I can go back like easily and stay there for a little bit longer. I'll be fine.
Yep.
But I don't, and then in order not to do that, like I will text my friend Marta, like last night, I texted her and I said, I don't know what to do with this situation. And she says, I think you should just keep going. I mean, like, don't even think about going back. Don't even think about, just keep going. So I have the support. I mean, like my friends will keep me accountable, like my growth, even though they might not have the same process or the same willingness to do it, but they keep me because they know me. They know I cannot be happy if I am not making myself uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I appreciate for everybody listening and not watching this, that while you're sharing that story, Ili is nodding and smiling like, go mom. Yes, keep going.
Yeah, they are.
Always.
They are the reason why I do what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So for anyone who is considering adoption and considering doing, adopting from abroad, what would you guys tell them?
What would you say, Ili?
It's, a good way. I think it's a good alternative. And yes, we have to we have all to live our life and do what we want with, I mean, you have to talk with your family and have la aprobación, ¿no? Comisión.
The relationship, yeah.
The relationship. And yeah, we don't have any problem with that. And I mean, I prefer that she is there than here because, I mean, it's just so different of here in Barcelona. And when we go there and we enjoy more all the moments we spend with her.
Yeah.
In my case, I would say, like adoption is, to me, I can only say good things, right? Like my experience is very, very positive. I know people that had no positive experiences with adoptions. So I think this is a little bit, two things. I think it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Right? When you get into adoption, you just have to keep your positive mindset and say, this is going to work, because that my thing in my head, I never had a shade of doubt. I never had a question that, should I do that? Should I not? I mean, what is no, I knew that she was mine. I knew that if I was going to Haiti and the problem was going to be long, I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I knew it was going to turn out well. I had that certainty, like so deep inside, like so certain. Like God said, God to the universe said, go, because it's going to be fine. I'll be there for you. And it did, right? Like when you have that certainty, it's like, there is no question. So I would encourage anybody that wants to adopt, especially if you are a single mom, especially if you are a single mom, a single mother, a single woman, and you want to have children, and the times go by and you don't have the partner that you wanted or you thought that was going to happen and it's not happening. You don't need to wait for that, because I don't think there is anything in the world that a single woman can do. I don't think that thing exists. We can do anything and everything. Like I've seen so many amazing women doing so unbelievable things that I don't think that, like there is nothing that you cannot achieve if you are a single woman.
Love it. Best powerful lady way to wrap this up ever, right? Well, I am so thankful that you guys were a yes to coming back, yes to sharing your story. It's been such a pleasure to meet you, Ili. Thank you. But yeah, you guys are such an inspiration, and it's lovely to see generations of powerful ladies making the world a better place. So thank you. Thank you, Cara, for having us today. It's been awesome. And it's been awesome to see a familiar face. Yes. All the links to connect with Gemi and Ili are in our show notes at thepowerfulladies.com. Please subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening and leave us a rating and review. They are so critical for our podcast visibility and helping us connect with more listeners like yourself. Come join us on Instagram at Powerful Ladies. And if you're looking to connect directly with me, visit caraduffy.com or Cara_Duffy on Instagram. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode and an amazing new guest. Until then, I hope you're taking on being powerful in your life. Go be awesome and up to something you love.